Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
Welcome to Mental Health Mondays. I am Marla.
And I'm Dave, and we have a great show planned for you today.
You know what? I say that every Monday, Mental Health Mondays has actually made Monday a better day of the week for me than normal. And we have been, we have our guest with us, Raz, there he is, and Raz B of B2K, the famed group. And, you know, Raz has so much going on right now in his life, and his story is really a story of perseverance and victory, really. As far as I'm concerned, you know, Raz has proven to be a champion of many things, but most importantly, life.
I want to let everybody know that today's show is brought to you by Mental Health Mondays, and to donate to that, go to lovingbyondreason.org. Click the donations page, or go to NamiSanFernandoValley.org. Click the Mental Health Mondays donations page. And we have a great show for you. Like Marla said, our guest today honestly needs no introduction. A founding member of B2K, along with Lil Fizz, J Boog, Omarion, Raz B, was a household name before he was a teenager. His well-documented successes stand side by side in the public record with his well-documented struggles. Today, Raz B will share with us his journey, the ups and downs, the struggles and triumphs on the road to contentment and mental wellness. We're looking forward to our great conversation with none other than Raz B on the other side.
Help someone who is struggling by supporting the National Alliance on Mental Illness and be a part of the NAMI effect. Hope starts with you.
Hey guys, listen up. Learn something.
Okay, Raz, we know that it's not lost on us that the last time you were scheduled to be on our show, travel and some things beyond your control prohibited you from joining us, and I just want to comment right now to your dedication. Seriously, we see that you have so much, you're so productive, you have so much going on, but you took the time to pause clearly in your vehicle, which we appreciate, to spend time with us here. So thank you so much just for sharing with us.
Indeed,
I'm
indeed.
Excited. I'm excited to be here. It's my apologies once again that I due to force majeure, I was unable to attend our last meeting, but I'm happy to be here. Unfortunately, I'm in my car because I'm outside of my office right now. I don't have my key card to get in, so I was actually looking to do this fellowship in the office. But yeah, my dedication is real. Definitely want to be here for this.
And we
appreciate
you. Together too,
we really do. And let me start with that. And I mentioned it earlier on one of my lives, but you know, for those of you who don't know, I almost feel like this is important to mention, because before you even can consider what you're doing and where you're going in life, God kind of has a tapestry. So Raz has been connected with our family from the time that our daughter, Moniece, was a teenager. Before, it's crazy. They were friends way back in the day before we even knew that Fizz would impregnate our daughter, and we'd have a grandson. We had no
or
clue.
something like that.
Something
yes,
happened. It did happen. His name is Cameron. He's here, and it's all good. But the bottom line is, we have been connected loosely in our family, and Raz. So on some level, the world kind of watched you grow up, but we did too. But almost with a different eye. Dave being in the entertainment industry as a singer, we understand a lot of the times the pressures that people just see your fame. They don't see that you get lost as a person. And I was saying earlier today, you guys, on top of the pressure that you had to perform and musically, you guys were like 18-year-old teenage sex symbols, which is a whole other
that was one of the strange things for me, to see grown women just throwing panties at like
young boys,
14-year-old little boys. It was like, are you serious? But you guys definitely had star power from day one. I want you to take us all the way back to even before B2K. Were you always interested in being an artist, being a performer?
No.
So what was the What was the impetus to actually join B2K?
I feel like now that I'm older, looking back, I feel like at times I feel like I'm living someone else's dream.
Wow, that's heavy.
And I know what type of things that I like today are still like the same things I liked when I was younger, just on a more mature level in a different sector, but with that same energy. Because you learn about yourself through people, from your energy leaks, or what I like to call them. Because sometimes, you may have a shortcoming that may be interpreted a different way to someone else, especially when your heart is in the right place.
So your creativity.
Yeah, but I would say being inspired around things, it doesn't necessarily mean that's what you really wanted to do.
Right.
Because now that I'm older and I look at all the work that I put in, it helped me build the platform that I have. But that, Raz B and Raz and DeMario are different people to me in my world.
So explain that. Explain that how that is delineated for you from your perspective.
Raz, meaning revealer of secrets.
Yeah.
Raz B is, the public persona, and DeMario is, my family given name, which to me is kind of like it's my government name.
Right.
So
literally.
So Raz, at one point, did you find, in order for you to continue to progress and find peace, did you have to take one of those back? Did they become so intertwined that you had a fight, a conflict, to grab back hold of yourself, the inner self, and then the persona?
Completely. I believe so. I found myself a lot of the times depressed, crying a lot. You have nice cars, money around, young age, but there was some substance that was missing. And I think when you give so much of yourself to the world, or the world is, in other words, the world is demanding so much from you. That's kind of why the world's constantly always moving.
Right.
Yeah. Because
B2K is a commodity and people want to pull from, especially when it's in that white hot spot. It was just really overwhelming, just for a kid. So I feel like any kid coming into this business, I feel artist development and mental artist development is everything, just to really get an artist prepared for what it is to come, and especially in that transition, because you have to have the right people around to be able to help that artist or that young individual make that transition properly, so they don't fall victim to drugs. If you're dealing with depression, nobody knew I was depressed.
Right.
But
did you even know the level of depression that you were dealing with at the time, or did you just feel overwhelmed?
No, not at all. I remember some a lot of times, So for me, it was just, I'm still learning just from my journey thus far. It's still a learning process. So it's so cool.
As we all are.
Yeah,
so
true.
was your family around to help support you during that early time period?
It depends on what kind of family, because my mother and my father and my sister are the ones who do the will of God. So I just feel like, those type of people that understand that discipline and understand that knowledge and wisdom and that spirit, that influencer energy, they operate with that level of integrity.
Right.
So I don't know if my family was around. I wouldn't have. I would. Yeah, my family. No. Mm-mm.
But I would say this too, because and I'm just gonna, for just a minute, and I love the fact that Raz is talking about his journey in the way of awareness. Like, in other words, the more you live and the more you have an experience, you become aware as you're in the travel of it all. It's not, everything's not revealed to you. You go, oh yeah, here's my issue. This is what I'm gonna do. This is where I went wrong. It doesn't happen like that. So hold that thought, Raz. We're gonna and this is an amazing conversation. We're gonna go to a break, and when we come back on the other side of the break, we're gonna hear that I want to hear a little bit more about that from Raz, how he actually has learned to self-manage his awareness in his journey. We'll be back in just 1 second.
You may not realize it, but these words, often used to describe someone with a mental health condition, can be very harmful. In a country where 1 in 5 people are affected by a mental health condition, it's time for all of us to step up and change the conversation. Just because someone's struggle isn't obvious on the outside doesn't mean they aren't hurting on the inside. We need to see the person, not the condition. Join with me, pledge to be stigma-free.
When Dave and Marla get together, it's hot.
It's time for the Mental Health Minute with Marla and Dave.
Many people believe there is nothing that they can do for a person with a mental health problem. In fact, according to mentalhealth.gov, friends and loved ones can make a big difference.
Only 44% of adults with diagnosable mental health problems and less than 20% of children and adolescents receive needed treatment. Friends and family can be important influences to help someone get the treatment and the services that they need.
Reaching out and letting them know you are available to help is one way. Helping them access mental health services. Learning and sharing the facts about mental health, especially if you hear something that isn't true. Treating them with respect, just as you would anyone else. Refusing to define them by their diagnoses or using labels such as crazy.
If you or someone you know is experiencing mental health challenges, please, we ask, visit NamiSanFernandoValley.org for help with hospitals and psychiatric units, including suicide prevention, and specific help for veterans, including the Veterans Crisis Line.
This message is brought to you by Mental Health Mondays with Marla and Dave.
David is a thinker.
I never do anything without thinking about it first.
Marla is a feeler.
I basically wear my personality on my sleeve.
But when Marla and Dave get together, it's like a match dancing with a firecracker.
So we're back with Raz. Up there. Hold on, because we got to be patient with Signal because he was unable. There you go. So Raz, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So the question that I have for you now is, do you remember a pivotal moment where you fought through the fog that just kind of engulfed you at any particular point?
I think that's life. I just think this is growing up, kind of like when you're transitioning from a young a kid to a young adult to an enlightened spiritual being. It's just a lot. It all depends on what you're seeking. I've always had a desire to for knowledge and wisdom and enlightenment. So there were many dark times. But I think, a lot of it came from just not really having the love around me, because I felt like the product was love, but nobody really cared about my your
soul, your being. You're right. The things that made you tick, not the things you did for people.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. I didn't feel that at all.
And did you feel like your other group members, they were going through similar things? Did you guys talk about that
together?
A brotherhood? Was that like a brotherhood that helped you guys get through?
Can't really speak on them because I don't really know their business.
Right.
Yet what I can say is I feel like there were many bonding moments that we all shared, that we shared individually. I lost my key, y'all.
It's all good. We can see you. It's okay. You're straight because your words are powerful, and so trust me. We can even lighten post edit.
That we shared individually and collectively. I remember one time. This is something I just randomly remember when we all thought that business was a little suspect, and we all wanted to move forward as a team to kind of look more into our business.
Mm-hmm.
And then, really, but it was just 4 individuals, that really, shared a close bond, that worked together. But, we all grew up and became the man that we want to become.
Right.
So, and that's evident.
For sure. And that's that. Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, you mentioned something about young artists and the need for
Development.
artist development, especially when it comes to expectations and how to guard your mental wellness, so to speak. Was there ever somebody? And first of all, let me just get the elephant out of the room, out of the way. Elephant in the room, and that is the struggles that you guys went through. That's been documented publicly, and we're not interested in really just diving down into the underbelly, so to speak. But what we are interested in, when did you first realize that you as a DeMario, especially when you were in that persona as Raz B, needed to separate and do something different for yourself, because your life was worth more to you than this weight that was placed upon you that seemed unbearable?
Well, essentially, it takes a village to raise a child.
Mm-hmm.
So, when things are not built on a solid rock foundation, they're gonna crumble anyway, right?
Right.
And then it's just real life, bro. For me, I can't really speak for everybody else. I just know.
We only want to talk to you.
I want to speak to when did you feel like you needed to make that change for yourself?
I feel like you naturally crawl into what it is that you want. And you will shed whatever you feel you need to shed or sacrifice for that peace of mind.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're talking about mental health, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you're searching for that peace of mind, and that's like is having the discipline to create the proper harmony and frequency around yourself.
Yeah.
So we all have a way that we like to be respected, shall we say? In other words, we have to create our heaven here on earth. And we have to do it. We have to learn. Somebody can put you in a bubble and cool, but if you want to be the master of your own destination, you gotta accept the responsibility, what it takes, to be, enlightened. And
what were the steps that you took in regards to that same process?
Yeah, go ahead. You can answer that, Raz, but I also have
really just seeking out, hanging with wise people. Those that hang with wise, they become wise. Really just want to, learn from the mistakes that others have made, and really just like, what if we actually listen to what was set before us?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we'll have, maybe we'll be a little bit more advanced and more of a head.
Mm-hmm. You're describing a mentorship sort of relationship. Who was that person that was your mentor that helped you understand these things?
There was a lot of different people that God has used that's come into my life along my journey.
Awesome.
A lot of complete random strangers who have been more greater to me than what we call our blood biological, family and whatnot. So, the kingdom of God is all around us. You know what I'm saying? So I just think it's amazing because when I look at, I see God, and I see the creation in all things around me. So my approach to life is a lot different than others may. And, I live in a free world, meaning I understand, I understand the world. I understand the Lord. I understand the trees. I understand certain things. So I different appreciation for it.
And Raz, when we come back, we're going to take another break. And when we come back, I have a specific question and I have a statement to make that I think that you should definitely hear that has to do with you being on my heroes list. We'll be back in 1 second. Don't move.
You know what that music means. That means it's
poll time.
That's right. This is the only time when the pole dancer does not have a pole. All right. As a prop. Anyway, Marla, what was the question we asked last week?
Last week's poll question was this. What is the average delay between the onset of mental illness, symptoms, and treatment? A, 1.5 years, B, 5 years, or C, 11 years?
Yes. What is the average delay between when you first start experiencing mental illness symptoms and by the time you go to get some treatment? So last week, I believe week before last, actually, Favi made a guess, and I believe she guessed correctly.
11 years.
11 years.
So
that is way too long.
Tell us about this week's poll question.
The poll question this week is, which of these conditions are you most likely to develop? A, diabetes, B, cancer of any kind, C, mental illness, or D, heart disease. Again, which of these conditions are you most likely to develop? Diabetes, cancer of any kind, mental illness, or heart disease. You can take the poll question, find those poll questions anywhere that we have the Love and Beyond Reason social media. Poll question is there. Take the poll questions. We love to hear from you. It's a great, fun way to get some education as far as mental health is concerned. And always remember, stop by the Love and Beyond Reason mental health website, loveandbeyondreason.org, and donate to Mental Health Mondays. We'll be right back.
Okay, so we're back, and I was going to make a statement, and I'm going to make a statement, and my statement is directly to and about Raz.
You're referencing that he's your hero.
Raz has proven to me to be honestly one of the strongest people that I personally know of and have met, and I'm glad and honored to know. And even now, we appreciate again. Bear with us all, because Raz is doing everything that he can to make sure that he's here with us, and we appreciate it. So Raz, I want to just be sure you understand how I feel, and it doesn't matter what people think, and it doesn't matter what they covet about you. A person who can speak a truth, and it's that person to me who always is going to come out to be the victor and be just literally triumph. And Raz, in the middle of sharing a truth with whatever, and I wasn't in his shoes, but whatever the criticism was, doesn't even come close to the champion that he is, to find himself in the way that we see him now, having come through. And let's not get it twisted. So many people who don't come forward with this strength that he has don't make it through. Let's just keep it all the way real. We know many people, including, I've shared before myself, that there have been times that I was like, I figured this whole thing called life out. I don't want to be here anymore. This is dumb. I'm out. And didn't do it. So I'm just being transparent. And I'm saying that if I could give you a bag of gold to say thank you, because that strength has empowered people you'll never even know. And I was one of them.
Wow. I'm always so humble when another human being goes out of their way to allow for God's love to be revealed or expressed. Because don't nobody owe nobody nothing. But as a people, as being God's people, we do owe each other. We owe each other the commandments. We owe each other the love and respect. Not everyone isn't mature and enlightened enough to know how to move the way God will want them to move. So we forgive them for they know not what they do. It's just about taking the high route about whatever situation. Because sometimes when we operate on a very low frequency, it brings us out of character, and essentially we're being tormented by those same demons. But when you create your path to God, and you create because that's your relationship to your creator. So when you create that, you're not really worried about anybody else, because a lot of people live their life worried about everybody else, right? So I decided to live my life. I lived in China for 7 years, the coolest shit ever. You know what I'm saying? And I encourage everyone out there to live. On
a personal note, Raz, I got to jump in right here. Why China?
China picked me. It was written for me. Concert happened back in 2004. I presented to the guys for B2K to perform at the Great Wall of China. Unfortunately, opportunity still went on. I played some part in the production. Last minute, my team pulled out. I always had that desire to go to China. 7 years later, an opportunity hit me up. Maybe maybe 6 or 7 years later, hit me up. And I always felt that there was something in China special for me. And I went there, and it was like my wilderness experience. It was a place for me to grow up, mature as a businessman, mature as a man of God, as an artist. Just so many different things. I mean, it would take a long time just to talk about that journey itself. I think I've been contemplating possibly writing a book just on that chapter of my life.
Wow.
I would love to read it.
Yeah, man. It's some inspirational energy up there, especially when I sit and I start to remember, because different things start to come out of me. But I love the Lord, and we all have amazing journeys and stories, and I think it's really cool that we all have an opportunity to share them, because us and our strength, we never know who we're being strong for, whatever it is.
It really sounds like.
That,
I was going to say, it really sounds like you lean heavily on your spirituality as one of the tools that you use to really keep you grounded and to deal with some of the issues that you've had in the past in a healthy way. And I would like you to talk about how important that spirituality is to you.
Well, it's real simple. Using ancient wisdom for visionary leadership, essentially, is what it is. It's like the knowledge is here. Our ancestors are here. There's people that's walked on this earth before us. And if we just do our best to understand that with all the knowledge around, I mean, we got computers computing 10,000 years in 200 seconds nowadays, right? So, you have access to a lot of knowledge and wisdom. So I think it's really, really important to stay as close as possible you can to your ancestors, to your descendants. You know what I mean? Because I feel like we've descended so far. Now you got a bunch of robots just walking around, pretty much, and that's pretty much where the world is going today. So
yeah.
But it's so important while we still have our spirits and our souls, for us that are here, to love the Lord with all our heart and our might and our soul, and believe and know that we come from a greater place.
And that's why I honored you in the way that I did, because everything you talk about, all I keep hearing is, in my brain, I'm like, well, dang, he's super strong. Because even China, I was thinking to myself, for me to go to another country out of the blue, the culture shock alone would scare me.
Right.
Like, I can't speak to anybody. I don't know how to ask for food. Just a quick anecdotal story, Raz, that'll make you crack up. Dave took me to Sweden, with Montreux.
We were in Switzerland.
Yeah. And I was pregnant, and he was doing the jazz festival, and he said, just get something to eat. I got to go do media. And he goes to do media, and the next thing you know, I can't order food, and he comes back, and I'm crying.
Yeah, that was funny. Marla actually thought that talking broken English was more understandable than just saying what she wanted to say. She's like, meat,
it's cut
raw. And it was like, she wants a rare steak.
So look, you got in the building.
It actually works. I get the next one. Somebody let me in. No, I can relate, because I remember a time where I was just like using kind of like sign, like hand gestures to try to explain what I want. So, but when you're over there in the culture so long, you start to know Chi Fan means like some food. Like you start to pick it up, because you hear people be like, "What you say?" Because you want to learn.
Right. Right. So right now, if I put you in a room full of people who speak Chinese, would you be able to, even if you can't fluently speak it back, could you understand what was being said around you?
I can put some things together. Yeah, there's been many times. I'm probably a little rusty now, but I mean, there's been some times where I was dropped in a room, and I actually kind of had a good idea of where the conversation was going, and kind of where it was headed. But I just speak basic Chinese, but for now, I was there so long, it could have. I wish I kept it up.
That's awesome.
So Raz, we're gonna. This is a perfect timing, actually, because are you gonna head up to your office?
I am actually.
Okay, so we're gonna finish this up and close out. It'll take us about a minute, and then when you get to your office, we'll be in our part 2, and you'll be settled in, and we'll be good to go. And it's another 30 minutes. All right, so that'll be perfect. So because we want to hear a lot about what you guys have coming up. So don't. Yeah,
let's talk about it all.
Yeah, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with more Raz B.
Bad.
What are you doing?
You're
Worthless.
Don't trust them. They'll hurt you. You're worthless.
It's pointless.
When the pain of schizophrenia meets hope, everything can change. Help someone who is struggling by supporting the National Alliance on Mental Illness and be a part of the NAMI effect. Hope starts with you.
It's raw, real, and unfiltered.
Well, we've had an interesting start to our conversation with Raz. You know, I will tell you again that, you know, life happens. And so we're just glad that, you know, despite that his commitment to us was greater than the uncomfortable situation that he was in. But we are going to have, there will be part 2.
We'll continue the discussion.
We'll continue the
Absolutely.
conversation with Raz. We appreciate you for joining us. And just listen, we say all the time that any conversation that we're going to have about mental health is one worth having and one worth hearing. And so we are so appreciative that you stop in and you join these conversations with us. And we will look forward to episode 2 with Raz.
We want
next
to
week.
remind you guys that your overall health includes your mental health, and mental wellness is so important. Like Marla said, we thank you guys for joining us. These are great conversations. Everyone's mental health journey is not a straight line, and it's usually unique, and that's why we love having these conversations. Stay tuned. Next week, we'll be back with more Raz B. See ya.